What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Big Love, and this is Big Love's Breakdown. So last night, we had WWE Fastlane. It's the last pay-per-view before Wrestlemania. This pay-per-view was okay. I gotta admit, there was a little bit of everything. There was bad matches, decent okay matches, and then there were some good matches. We even got a couple surprises, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and get into this. This is my thoughts and recap of what happened last night at Fastlane. The kickoff show starts off with Akira Tozawa and Rich Swann versus the Brian Kendrick and Noam Dar. This was just a classic cruiserweight match, 205 live match. I really thought maybe Akira Tozawa and Brian Kendrick should have been the pre-show match and not had the extra people in there. It's just a little fun back and forth match. Rich Swann hits the Phoenix Splash off the top rope to pin Noam Dar. Akira Tozawa got a slight measure of revenge when he hit the snap German suplex on the Brian Kendrick. Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa pick up the win here for the kickoff show. To start the main show off was what I thought was going to be match of the night. Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn. This match presented a good story, and it was more of a character development type of deal. Sami Zayn pretty much gets brutalized majority of this match. Joe's strikes seem to have a little extra pepper on him tonight, and he just pretty much decimated Sami Zayn for the majority of this match. That was pretty much the story in this match. Joe looking dominant and Sami not giving up. Unfortunately, at the end, Sami Zayn got put to sleep with the Coquina Clutch by Samoa Joe. Sami Zayn tried to reach for the ropes, but he just pretty much passed out, so Samoa Joe wins. This match served a purpose. Samoa Joe had to look dominant. Sami Zayn still looks like the lovable underdog. The Raw Tag Team Championships. Enzo and Big Cass are challenging The Club, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. This match seemed like a solid Raw match. I wasn't too impressed by this match. It's a typical Enzo and Cass start the match out on fire. Enzo gets beat up for 5 to 10 minutes before he gets the hot tag to Cass. Cass comes in there, cleans house for the most part. He tags back in Enzo. Enzo goes up for the boom shakalaka. Luke Gallows picks up the pin. Big Cass goes outside to, attack Luke Gallows. Luke Gallows gets the better of the exchange there. Enzo gets hit with a running knee by Carl Anderson. 1, 2, 3. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows retain the titles. The interesting thing to note in this match, Enzo actually puts his leg on the bottom rope to try to break up the pin, but Luke Gallows pushes it off before the referee notices. So I think we're going to get more in this rivalry anyway, and we're going to probably get another match because that is definitely a piece of controversy there in this match. So keep that in mind. So then we have Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks. I thought this was going to be another squash match, or at least a match where Nia Jax just gets to look dominant, maybe on her way to a title match or a title run. This was probably the best match that Sasha Banks and Nia Jax have had against one another. Nia Jax actually gets her in a torture rack at one point. I just want to note this because I thought it was a really good torture rack. She walked around the ring just brutalizing her with the torture rack. Nia Jax plays around with Sasha Banks in this match probably a little too much. Eventually, Sasha Banks sees the opportunity to get a roll-up, 1, 2, 3. Sasha Banks pulls out the victory. I was a little shocked. I guess technically it doesn't make Nia Jax look any less of a monster because she got sleight of hand type of deal with the roll-up. So after that, I'm not going to spend too much time on these matches. They were called bonus matches. These were horrible. It was Cesaro versus Jinder Mahal. Cesaro wins with a pop-up uppercut. And then Rusev versus The Big Show. Big Show wins after Big Show wins after hitting 3 choke slams and a KO punch. Talk about overkill. Jinder Mahal and Rusev are no longer a tag team, so they want to prove who's the better singles wrestler. Nobody tonight. Not even the fans won on this one. Michael Cole said it felt like WrestleMania during the Cesaro and Jinder Mahal match. No, Michael Cole. You're wrong. So then we had Neville defending his Cruiserweight Championship against Jack Gallagher. I gotta let you know, I think the build up to this match was amazing. These two did really great story building together. This match was really good. It might have been match of the night in my opinion. The match was a little slow for some people, and I know some people don't like that, especially when it comes to cruiserweight matches, but I was okay with this. It was technically sound. It was done beautifully. It was a masterpiece to watch as far as the cruiserweight division has been of late. Now, not including the Cruiserweight Classic, but since 205 Live has started and the Cruiserweight division has started, this is probably the best match that we've gotten out of the Cruiserweight division, especially the best title match. Neville's doing some great work. Jack Gallagher proved his worth last night and in this storyline in general. At one point, Jack Gallagher does a suicide dive. It was kind of a weird suicide dive. He didn't look very comfortable in it, but he both looked uncomfortable doing it and professional doing it, if that makes sense. I'm not sure how often Jack Gallagher does this. I don't think he's done it since he's been in the WWE or in the Cruiserweight Classic, but he looked like he's done this before, and he looked like he knew how to pull it off where he didn't look comfortable doing it even though he did. This match was really good. We even got to see Neville pull out the red arrow here. He ends up winning with the red arrow. It's something I don't think we've seen since his first couple weeks as heel Neville. He's been generally doing different moves like a superplex off the top rope and that Rings of Saturn submission hold. So it was cool to see him bring that back. It proved that Jack Gallagher wasn't going down without a fight, so he had to bring out the big artillery. Great match. Neville gets the win, retains the Cruiserweight Championship. Jack, keep your head up. That was an amazing match. We then had Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. Now, it's no secret here, I'm not a big fan of Roman Reigns, but I gotta admit, this was a really well done match. Roman Reigns made Braun look like a monster. Braun did, his duty to make himself look like a monster. It wasn't as cut and dry as I thought it was going to be. These two told a great story in this match. I was very surprised, but very happy. Now, I know I give Roman Reigns a lot of grief, but call a spade a spade. This was a good match. It was really back and forth towards the end. Braun dictated most of this match, especially at the beginning, but they went back and forth at the end instead of just doing the typical Braun dictates most of the match, and then all of a sudden Roman Reigns starts beating him up, and then he wins. They played it off really well. Roman was put through a table by Braun. Braun ended up kicking out of the spear. It seemed like Braun was in desperation mode towards the end, so he goes up to the top rope for a splash or a headbutt. He misses completely. Roman Reigns hits the spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman wins clean. My issue with this match was the fact that he won clean. I thought maybe Undertaker's gong would have hit. Undertaker would have come out. I'm not sure. I just thought there would have been more to it than that. Nonetheless, I'm not going to take anything away from this match. It was a good match. It was a good way to give Braun Strowman his loss, too, because he did something he's not normally accustomed to doing, and that's going to the top rope and then kind of paying for the high risk. This match was done really well. Time will tell if Braun Strowman is still going to be the big dominant person he's supposed to be. I don't think losing to Roman Reigns takes a whole lot away from him. I think that WWE just needs to make sure they book him really strong in the next couple weeks, couple months to come. That way we continue to understand that Braun is a dominant monster, and without that risk, he might not have lost this match to Roman Reigns. So before I get to the next match, I just need to note that Mick Foley was on the phone with Stephanie at one point, and they show a couple different backstage segments indicating this, that Stephanie's not going to be at Fastlane tonight because she's, I guess, plane troubles. She's stuck on an airport or something. Mick Foley's basically running the show, which means there's a lot of things that Stephanie probably didn't want to happen that ended up happening, especially in the last two matches. She didn't want Sasha Banks at ringside, and she probably wanted Joe to help Kevin Owens, but obviously they showed different segments where Mick Foley's basically enforcing the fact that Joe can't go to ringside and that he's in charge tonight. So Bayley versus Charlotte was an okay match for the first half or first 3/4 of the match. It really picked up at the end and it got a lot better. There was a couple sloppy moments or a couple moments where it didn't seem like they were on the same page and they weren't sure what they were supposed to be doing. The turnbuckle spot was one of the spots that I really remember where it looked like Bayley was trying to do the springboard elbow drop onto Charlotte when she was on the Tree of Woe. So at the end here, Sasha Banks comes out and distracts Charlotte. And this was kind of interesting because Bayley told Charlotte earlier in the night to keep Dana Brooke in the back, which she did. When Charlotte comes out, she has Dana Brooke with her, and she tells Dana Brooke, "Get out of my spotlight," or something to that effect, and Dana Brooke goes in the back. So Sasha Banks ends up basically helping Bayley win. She comes out there and distracts Charlotte first off, and then she calls to the ref's attention that Charlotte's actually pulling Bayley's tights during a roll-up. And Charlotte's pretty pissed off about this, but when she turns around, she gets to Bayley to belly. 1, 2, 3. Bayley wins and retains her title, and the pay-per-view Queen streak is over. I was really shocked. This match, these two have had better matches in the past, but just the fact that she snapped the pay-per-view Queen streak was pretty monumental here. It didn't feel as big as it should have, though, considering the fact that I don't think Charlotte's lost at a pay-per-view at all, and I know she hasn't lost at in a one-on-one match. I felt like it should have been bigger. It should have been more celebrated or more, the announcers didn't play it up. It lacked in the emotion and the feeling of such a big deal, and I thought it was a big deal that Charlotte's streak was finally broken. It's kind of weird it was broken at Fastlane, which is such a secondary kind of BS pay-per-view, but hey, congratulations to Bayley. You broke the streak, and Sasha Banks was in the ring with her celebrating at the end, which was kind of weird. I'm interested to see if there's any fallout here because she was happy that Sasha was out there last night, but I imagine there's going to be some type of ill will or some type of words exchanged between these two because Bayley wanted Dana Brooke to stay in the back and Charlotte made sure that happened, but Sasha comes out, so I feel like there's going to be a Sasha heel turn here because there's going to be some type of exchange between Bayley and Sasha that's going to eventually lead to this, so we'll see what happens tonight, but Bayley retains the title. This was a decent match, nothing overly special about this. The match they had on Raw a few weeks ago was better, but congratulations once again to Bayley. Goldberg challenges Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship. I just hate part-timers as champ. It's so stupid. It's kind of insulting to the talent that's there 300 days a year or 250 days a year or whatever it is. And it's kind of insulting to the title because we know Goldberg is just going to come out there and say, "Oh, I'm the champion," and that's about it. So obviously Goldberg wins this match. This match was stupid, pointless, and a waste of time. Kevin Owens comes out there, and before the bell actually rings, he walks around the ringside a couple times, gets in and out, trying to, I guess, piss Goldberg off. So then he finally gets in the ring and says, "Ring the bell" to the ref, and right before the ref rings the bell, Jericho's music hits. And you hear the bell in the middle of Jericho's music. And Goldberg hits the spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Once again, another Goldberg match that's less than a minute or... You know what I'm trying to say. I think he's had now 3 matches that have totaled 5 minutes or about 6 minutes. I Y'all want Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar in 2004 at WrestleMania 20 was probably one of the worst, if not the worst, WrestleMania match of all time, not involving celebrities, of course. And they played it off real well that Stephanie and Triple H weren't going to be there because they had plane issues. You know, you kind of could see the writing on the wall when Mick Foley was like, Joe, you can't interfere. Stephanie's not going to be here tonight. I'm in charge. You kind of saw the writing on the wall with this because I felt like any type of chance that Kevin Owens had to retain the title tonight was going to be based around Triple H getting involved, Samoa Joe getting involved, something happening in that aspect. Goldberg's the Universal Champion. Great, guys. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with Goldberg, but to be the champion in your third match, and realistically, one of the matches was a Royal Rumble, the other match was a minute and 26 seconds. What's this match at WrestleMania going to be like? A 5-minute BS match where Goldberg wins or Brock Lesnar wins, so we get another part-time champ regardless. And then WWE wonders why there's a lot of fans leaving, or like me, like I'm turning my attention to New Japan, Ring of Honor, and then Lucha Underground and stuff like that. It needs to be part-timers in a match that means something without a title. The title is important, and you devalue it with stuff like this. So I don't know. That's just my little spiel. I'm not too happy about that, to be honest with you. And I told everybody that's leading up to this that I thought this was going to happen, and I wasn't happy about it because I hate part-timers as champ. I don't know. Overall, Fastlane was okay. It wasn't a terrible show. It wasn't a great show. There was a couple matches worth watching. There was a couple things that I was just like, why? Let me know in the comments below what y'all thought of Fastlane. Did y'all agree with anything I said here? Like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this with all your friends and on all of social media. Hey, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'll be live tweeting tonight during Raw. Until next time, this is Big Love's Breakdown. I got 2 words for you. Stay tuned.